What's up, guys and girls? This is Vesture here, coming with my year in review of 2014. First up would be my game of the year. My game of the year this year, of course, would be Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. It's just such a great party game. Casuals, hardcore, it just caters to everybody. It's just packed with content, so many characters to choose from, most of them unique. We got a couple of clone characters in there. There's just so many dynamics to the game. The visuals are great, the stages are very well designed, they really bring the game to life, the music is just fantastic. And as far as my movie for 2014 goes, I really have to give a thumbs up to Purge Anarchy. This is one of the best Punisher adaptations you'll ever see. Everything is just so well done in here. The concept's really good, really stepped up from the original Purge movie. The characters are really good and well designed. And even characters not part of the main team are really well put together. Some great writing overall. And just a great improvement to the original in every way possible. And finally, I am bringing you my top anime of this year. Hands down, No Game, No Life. No Game, No Life follows the adventures of Shiro and Sora, a brother-sister duo by the name of Blank. Shiro and Sora are transported into another world controlled by multiple gods, and one of which has realm over the gaming world. In which case, everything is pretty much controlled through gaming. You bet through gaming, you pretty much work through gaming, you bargain with gaming. Everything is a game in this world, and they are so good at it. The anime itself is just one giant love letter to gaming. There are just so many subtle gaming references. Well, some subtle, some like objectionably hitting your face. But they're just so great. They're lovely. It's very intelligently written. And I highly recommend this anime. If none else, watch No Game, No Life.
What up, nerds? Alright, so Pride here was this top of 2014. Open up with some movies, because who doesn't love movies? Best movie, hands down, you can't even argue it. Guardians of the Galaxy. It was the best movie. It was the best Star Wars movie we've ever gotten. It was the best Star Trek movie we will ever get. And it was one of the best Marvel movies that we'll probably see until something really, really mind-numbingly good comes out. But yeah, Guardians was fantastic. Who would have thought a talking raccoon in a giant tree would have made me cry? Okay, maybe. Moving on, TV, best TV show. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. Gotham, Constantine, Arrow. Outside of the Marvel Universe, you get some great stuff. Grace Point, Orphan Black. But honestly, I have to keep it up with my nerd cred and go with Flash. I love Flash. It's probably my top two. I always have to switch between that and Constantine. But what Flash is doing is introducing us to the metahumans, which that I think is going to be a gateway to much bigger and better things. Expect in the next 2 or 3 years to get some really, really good show. I'm looking forward to Teen Titans. What they're going to do is that. But just because of the whole metahumans and the extra budget TV shows are getting now with shows like that, I think it's going to be phenomenal. Best game? Game was hard for me. That's what she said. But it was really tough. There's so many... That's what she said. There's so many really good ones out there. That's what she said. Oh my god, what is wrong with me right now? Anyway, so, honestly, I couldn't think. I was thinking really for a long time, Bravely Default. Best handheld game for a long time. I'll do that. Bravely Default, best handheld game. I'm gonna go as Warlords of Draenor, the new World of Warcraft expansion for Game of the Year. Just because the last 2 expansions have been utter crap for Blizzard and have really made the game essentially unplayable. But this new expansion with garrisons, the better story, the new graphic model updates, and everything along with it, it completely revitalized the game. It made a crappy game playable. And you know what? That deserves my Game of the Year. And finally, Event of the Year. I was actually going to say for the longest time the Saints losing so that I can finally have my friends back and we can actually record again, but I think I decided to do something more nerdy, and I'm going to go with Jump Fiesta 2015, probably for the Event of the Year. You may not be familiar with that. It's this really big gaming event in Japan where we got Kingdom Hearts 3 information after how many years. We got Final Fantasy 15, new trailer, a bunch of new information out of that. Final Fantasy 14 new information. Gold Saucer, anyone? Expansion information, new classes. On top of that, we've got Final Fantasy Type 0 coming out. Plus, they announced a brand new Final Fantasy handheld game, iPhone/Android game that's basically like old school Final Fantasy. It's turn-based, it's 16-bit graphics, it looks really good. And that's my event of the year. So, on to the next dude.
Hey Internet, Mike here with Nerds in the Roundtable, and we're bringing you our Best of 2014. To start out my Best of 2014, I'm going to go with game. Now, I could have went with The Stick of Truth from South Park, Walking Dead Season 2, or The Last of Us Remastered. But I'm going to not take that route because it's a cheap way to go and pick in a remastered version of the greatest game ever made. I'm going to go with Infamous Second Son. I highly enjoyed the game, and you could watch myself and Vesture's digital get-down review of it. I'm going to go with this game because of the DLC Infamous First Light. I fell in love with Fetch Walker when you play the first game. I'm an idiot. When you play Second Son, and then with First Light, you actually play as her. But disregarding everything from First Light, Second Son is an amazing game in itself. Great graphics, great voice acting, great gameplay, open world, and all the powers you get to have and fool around with. So I went with that as my game of the year for 2014. Television. Could have went with The Flash. Could have went with Arrow. Could have went with Walking Dead because it started off at the beginning of 2014 and it ended in 2014. Could have went with The Americans. It's a very, very great show. You guys should check it out if you're not watching it. Also could have went with Broad City, which is a show on Comedy Central. Hilarious, by the way. You guys definitely check that out. But I have to go back to Old Faithful. You go with Who Brought You to the Dance. I got to go with Game of Thrones. I think it was like the third episode that they renewed it for like the next 7 seasons. The most uneventful announcement of all time that they renewed it. But Game of Thrones, the season was fantastic. You had the Battle at the Wall, you had Tyrion's trial, you had the Mountain versus the Viper. All in all, an amazing season on top of amazing seasons on top of amazing seasons. The show just keeps getting better and better, and that's why I went with that as my television show of the year. Who loves movies? I love movies. Could have went with Lucy. Could have went with The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies. Could have went with X-Men, Days of Future Past. Could have went with Guardians of the Galaxy. But I'm going to go with Captain America, Winter Soldier. It was the sequel of Captain America, the First Avenger, obviously. You had an amazing cast with Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Samuel L. Jackson's in it as Nick Fury, the Black Nick Fury, the best Nick Fury. It's a very grounded Marvel movie, I guess you could say. You're not dealing with the space aliens like you were in Avengers or talking raccoons as in Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked it a lot. And I know some of the nerds here didn't put that as their favorite movie of the year. They did go with other Marvel movies, but I'm going to go with Captain America Winter Soldier as my movie of the year for 2014. Last but not least, event of the year. I'm going to stick with sports. World sports, too. I could go with the World Cup, but I'm not. I know Pry's not going to be very happy with that because I'm not going to go with his beloved soccer. Oscar Pistorius' murder trial. That was a big global sporting event. News. But I'm going to go with the entire Ray Rice scandal in the NFL. I'm not going to go with Ray Rice like you think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the fact that his punishment was way lenient on compared to what he did. He beat his wife. There's actual video evidence of him knocking his wife out. He told the commissioner that this is what happened. What would you think happened when you saw the video? He hit her. He knocked her out. Now I'm not saying you should hit women. Do not hit women. As a matter of fact, don't hit anybody. Just keep your hands to yourself. Put them in your pockets like I'm doing right now. Keep your hands to yourself. I went with this event because Roger Goodell and his lack of foresight with anything he does in the NFL is a joke. He saw the video, so then he suspends Ray Rice for 2 games. So then he sees another video, and then he's like, okay, well, he's going to be indefinitely suspended. What did you think happened between point A and point B? He knocked her out. He told you. He knocked her out. What do you think, and what were you doing? Roger Goodell is a reactionary commissioner, not a proactive commissioner. He's garbage. And that's why I went with this as my event of the year. I could go on and on and on and on about it, but guys, the other nerds have to talk about their stuff too, so I'm not going to keep them from talking about what they need to do. So that's my event of 2014.
So what's up, Internet? It's Jacaya. Here doing my best of 2014, even though my list is going to be a little bit short because I'm a busybody at work and didn't really get a lot of free time this year to do a lot of the stuff I wanted to do. but I'm gonna give you my list anyway. Top movie of 2014, even though there was a long list of movies that I haven't seen and I want to see and I still want to see them, there was one that I actually did get to see. It was Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard the nerds talk about it ad nauseum, and I was like, I wonder why they're so hyped up over it. And I actually got to sit there and watch it. It was on Blu-ray and DVD, but I still watched it, and now I know why they talked about it ad nauseum. Because of 3 words, I am Groot. That's all you need. The feels are right there as soon as he said, I am Groot. Done. Favorite movie, right there. Guardians of the Galaxy. As far as a list for TV, I really didn't have one for like mainstream TV, like Americanized TV. I know I keep saying Americanized. Get over it. But I did have some favorite animes that I've watched, both in the English language and in the Japanese language and in any other language that was made available. Attack on Titan, I've watched both the English version and the Japanese version. I prefer the Japanese version. Sorry, America. Basically because they've gone through the entire season and I've watched it. I lost track of how many times I've watched it. I will say it's more than 100. That's just on Netflix. I've seen the English version on Cartoon Network / Toonami. And while I like that it's there, I just can't get a feel for the voice actors that are doing it as opposed to the Japanese ones that did it. So that's why it's up there on my list on the Japanese side. My favorite wrestling moments, because I've actually did start getting back into the American wrestling as opposed to the Japanese wrestling. I still watch it. Don't kill me over that. I still watch the Japanese wrestling, but I've also been watching more American wrestling lately. And some top moments from that, even though one of them is kind of hitting me right in the feels. The Ultimate Warrior having passed away moments after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't say that him being inducted was what brought about his demise. It's not. It's just age, heart problems, whatever was the actual cause. It was just too soon for it to happen. I mean, he was inducted. He made his appearance at WrestleMania. He made his appearance the night after WrestleMania on Raw. And then all of a sudden, he passed away. It was just too fast, too soon. But he's with us in the heart up above. Another top moment, and it still takes a lot of people by surprise, was The Undertaker's streak ending at WrestleMania. Because really nobody expected it to happen. Nobody even thought of the possibility of it happening. And to have only a small handful of people backstage actually know it was going to happen, and nobody else, nobody in the locker room, nobody in the production truck really knowing what was going on until the match actually took place. Yeah, that was pretty big. And of course, there's going to be that one guy in the audience that was like, sorry, guy. Now for some top music moments. One of which was a personal favorite of mine. Another one pretty much took over by storm. And I'll mention that one first, and that's Meghan Trainor's All About That Bass. Who would have thought that such a catchy little pop tune from somebody who's not ashamed of her size or weight issues, whatever, would catch on so quick, so fast, and just blow up as big as it did. I mean, I can't really go anywhere without hearing it or seeing the video for it, and yeah, I can understand why it blew up like it did. And then she went on Ellen and it blew up even bigger, because when you go on Ellen, apparently you blow up even bigger than what you are. So Ellen, if you're watching, invite the nerds in the round table. We want to go bigger. Just saying. Another music, top story music for me was the announcement of my current favorite Japanese band, Cold Rain, actually releasing an album on a worldwide stage as opposed to just Japan. The album, of course, was The Revelation. If you had seen the video that I did a couple of months ago, I actually had the album, I actually have the shirt. I actually purchased the album on iTunes. I know some of you are probably thinking it's stupid for me to actually have the physical album plus the album on iTunes. So, it's my favorite Japanese band right now. Don't judge me just because I'm a huge Cold Rain nut. If you listen to any of their songs, you would know why I'm so into it. So, do yourself a favor and go listen to Cold Rain. Promise you, you will not be disappointed. Trust me. So, that'll do it for my top moments of 2014. Looking forward to seeing everybody in 2015. But in the meantime, don't forget to like us or follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Also subscribe to us here on YouTube, because we love you. Happy New Year, everybody.